Yo, yo, yo. Sorry about that, guys. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here and there. I am currently joined by the man himself, Mr. Psychout. You there,
Whoa,
bud?
Mondo, cool.
Let's see. I think you're still muted, bud. I can't hear you. No, here, just give me a call back. Like, here, we're just hang it up and call back. That's how it goes, folks.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. But I can't see you now. Oh, he left the call. Having some technical difficulties this morning, folks, but we'll have everything up and running momentarily. Oh, I'm not in there. One more time with gusto.
Hi.
There we
Can you
go.
hear me now?
How you
Nice,
going
nice.
there, Mr. Psychout?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for having me. How do you prefer? Should I call you Tendo or prefer your real name?
Everybody knows me as Tindo, so it's no big deal there, bud.
Wait, I think I lost you there for a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
No,
can
I
hear
can't hear you actually. Oh, okay. There you are. There you are.
you. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So I think we got it all worked out, folks. This is what happens when you wake up Tindo before 6 a.m. So
Nice. Here in Vietnam, it's actually 8. So
Man.
it's been a long day at work already. So you got a nice day ahead of you.
Nice, nice. All right, so we got everybody coming into the show. Good to see everybody. Today, Axie Infinity has officially taken over the Zenzo checkpoint. We have multiple Axie giveaways to do. So, the giveaway is currently up. Let me get it refreshed because sometimes it does that. Doo-doo. And I've got, let's see here. Boom. Restart. Let's make sure this sucker is going here.
Yeah. So how much do you have? I'm excited too.
We are going
I
to
know
be-
we sponsored something.
Yes, we are giving away like 5 teams.
Wow.
We're giving away 5 teams every hour. So whoever wants to sign up and get them Axies, this is how you do it. So 5 winners will be picked on the hour. Let's see, it is 7:15 where I'm at, so we're going to do it in an hour. So at 8:15, we're going to pick winners for the teams. And what you're going to do is you're going to get with Wolven in our Discord, and we're going to get your address and everything. We're going to set you up after the show with some Axie teams. So all you got to do is, type !Axie, and you'll see your name pop up at the top of the screen, and we're good to go. All right. So now,
Not bad. Not bad.
I think we got all this lined out. Am I doing it right? Probably not. Let's see. DWI, yep, you are up on the top, dude. You are good to go. So, it is Axie Day. Let me kind of do the levels here. And I think my music might be a little too loud, or I can't hear it. Or I can hear more than I need to be. There we go. Alright, so we're going to be talking Axies. We're going to be playing Axies. We've got some of the Axie team with us here today. So if you want to learn about Axie, get into Axie, figure out, how do I play this game? This is your opportunity to learn. So I'm going to be kind of playing a little bit so people can kind of see. I mean, I kind of suck, so don't judge me too harshly. But I'm still learning. And this game has some serious depth. It's come so far from when I originally played over a year ago. And just seeing how far it's grown is truly amazing. So if you guys got any kind of questions y'all want to throw this way, throw them out here in the chat, and we'll give them over here to Psych Out, see what he's got to say about it. So, Psych Out, how long have you been with the company, and where do you kind of fit in the Axie world?
Yeah, so my story actually started from day one, once the project became public. Mm-hmm. So I met actually both Chung and G-Host playing CryptoKitties back in 2017. Mm-hmm. And we kind of gathered around and we played a lot. And then Chung told me that he was starting a new project early on in 2018. He wanted me to join pretty fast. I was working for another game company at the time, so I couldn't really join immediately. So I started up as an advisor, and then a little bit after the pre-sale ended, I quit my job for the Norwegian game company and moved down to Vietnam and joined up as COO and now one of the co-founders of the company.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been an interesting story, I would say. A lot of hard work, and we came definitely longer. It was a lot harder than I expected, being in a startup for sure.
Yeah, I can kind of attest to that. It's a lot of work. It's not just one of those things to where if you want to make something successful, you've got to put that time and energy into it, and it's really reflective in what you guys have done. Just from the sheer progress of where you were to where you are now, definitely has come a long way. And I'm currently playing the new release, correct?
Yeah.
The newest version.
So the community alpha is something that we've been working on for a long time. So the original kind of Axie game that we created, for me, I was never such a fan. I always liked more games where you could actually be a little bit predictive, like you could predict what the opponent is going to do. I always played a lot of Warcraft 3, Dota, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I really liked the skill aspect, and I felt like the old game really didn't have that kind of depth. So I was always pushing for something like this, and wanted to kind of turn Axie Infinity into a more competitive game. And right. I think with this one, we're heading in really the right direction, because there's a lot of depth, as you said. There's a lot of interesting moves that people can make. You can predict what the opponent is doing, and you can really outplay your opponents if you're good. Right. And that kind of thing really makes it a much really interesting kind of game to me. You can get a lot more emotion from the people who are playing, and yeah, it's just a totally different experience from what we have.
Correct. And see, that I really noticed that when I was playing this newer version, because it doesn't matter how much money you throw at this game.
Mondo, cool.
Yo. Stream Aid Chief coming with that ice cream. Thank you, brother. It doesn't really matter how much money you throw at this if you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? You have to put in that research. You have to put in that work. You got to figure out which Axies are good to breed with each other. You got to figure out which is going to kind of flow with your team. And I've got mad respect for that, because it should take skill. And just like you were saying before, it wasn't so bad. I mean, it was kind of good in the beginning. You could just, set up your Axies and let them fight. But then, you had to wait on power, and you had to wait on this. And here, you can just keep on going all out, all out, all out. And then on top of that, earning the love potions, which you got to use for breeding now. And I think that that's a really cool way to gain them.
Yeah, I mean, the breeding, the small love potions are just the beginning of everything that we have planned for the broader ecosystem, right? So I'm sure you've seen the land kind of page, and that's kind of the end goal for Axie, having that everything gathered up in the land system where you can attack other players, eventually create guilds, do all these things. It brings a much more deeper kind of gameplay and kind of ties it all together. So we're kind of building brick by brick, and really excited to see all the great feedback so far that we had for this specific game and this release. So I think that in the coming weeks and months, we're going to be polishing this game, making it even better, even more clear what the path to kind of progression is, make people feel even more emotion, and then really go for that mainstream release, so that the everyday person can kind of play a blockchain game without even worrying about any of the kind of the shitty things that you have to deal with usually to play a blockchain game.
Correct, and that's a breath of fresh air in blockchain gaming. I mean, I've seen a lot of different types. One of the most recent games that I seen come out was like, it was Cheese Wizards, and I think it was like just to get the option to get like a good wizard. I think it was like 1.5 ETH or something like that to get into it. You know, with Axies, it does not cost near that much to get into it. Just like this opportunity here we've got today. If you join in the Axie giveaway, you have the chance of winning a team at the end of the stream. I mean, right there. But you can actually go to the marketplace and find starter Axies for pretty cheap. You could probably get into this game for $20 and have a decent team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and right now even the prices have 10x'd since about a month ago or something. So I think there's still a lot of room to grow there. But I mean, yeah, the prices for Axies now seem pretty good to me. I'll be happy if people can get in for something like $10, and even like free to play is my dream, so that anyone can play the game for free, start earning a little bit of rewards, getting hooked into the game and the ecosystem, seeing all the fancy things that we have, and then potentially kind of becoming a paying player after that,
right? And
kind of being onboarded into the broader kind of the crypto ecosystem. So I think that there's, yeah, for sure. I think that's really important too, and something that we see some other games have now too, free to play to an extent. So. I think we're going to be seeing more of that and less of that whole, like the Cheese Wizard thing is interesting to an extent. Like they're having that gambling kind of gameplay more so than anything. And we know the Dapper Labs team. I actually spoke to Rohan. I think that they were doing some experimentation there. We don't really agree with that whole put everything on chain approach. So for our perspective, like we're putting more stuff off chain than ever. So we actually started, like the initial Axie game, we had almost everything on chain. So from the first games, like everything like you needed to send the transaction for everything you did. And that was very much like what Cheese Wizard is today, or was. But it just doesn't really work. Nobody cares about that. The only thing the users want is like they want a really crisp and clean gameplay, and then they want to like have the benefits that blockchain brings, which is like for now trading of Axies, right? And there are of course a lot of other cool things that blockchain enables, but I think that's something for the future, right? Because we kind of have that foundation, and the infrastructure is a little bit more and like deeper, works better.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And I get that, and that's what I was going back to, of just showing growth, finding out what works, what doesn't work. You know, letting players get into it without having to break their pocketbook to figure out if they like the game or not. You know, I don't like to cast shade on any game because we all got to start somewhere. You know, you may not end up with the same thing, and if you're not going out there and just making like a digital casino, then you know you're doing something. And because I've seen those, and that's like, well, we do blockchain gaming. I'm like, no, you're blackjack. Like that's blackjack.
Yeah, I mean, so blackjack is like so I speak at a lot of conferences. I talk to a lot of people in the space, and they're like, oh, look at these games. They have all these users. Well, that's not a game. That's like it's gambling. Like that's it. The gambling is the lowest hanging fruit that you can ever do to get users. I mean, if we wanted, we could have made a gambling type of game a long time ago. Like that's not hard. The harder thing is like making something that the users will come back to every day, feel happy that they're playing, like that kind of thing. That's challenging, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we really want to make that.
No, I'm excited to see it because I have certainly been enjoying the game. I made my way up the ranks in the battle system. I got into like the top 30, and then the Axie team pretty much handed my body back to me after they were done dismantling me. But no, there's definitely like you were saying, like a lot more depth into it. It's definitely a lot more fun to play. I feel like I can assemble a team together and have a fighting chance. Just kind of halfway playing on this game here. I should have been able to knock this bug out a long time ago.
Yeah, so I'm actually watching the stream now. He's got that snake jar. Could have been hard to beat in a 1-versus-1 situation. I mean, so I'm actually playing the game quite a lot now. I'm preparing a little bit for the stream. We're going to be commentating, me and Jeff. So try to make sure that I at least understand the metagame and so that we have some kind of value to bring. And Jeff is, of course, like playing a lot. So he's going to be coming in with some sweet data for you guys in tomorrow's tournament. So can't really wait to share that with everyone. That's going to be nice.
Cool. So the tournament coming up, huh?
Yeah, that should be... we're so excited to kind of build out that esports ecosystem, and I can't wait to see what else like our community can bring to the table there. Because like I come from that esports scene. I've been creating tournaments my entire life since I was like 17, 18 or something. Created many tournaments, and I really think that's a cool thing to get involved, a way to get involved in a community, right? So you can build a name for yourself, and then you can also kind of connect with some of the top players, and then eventually kind of make yourself into an influencer in that specific game. So I'm really excited to see who will host tournaments and who we can support. And hopefully that will kind of expand into like a thriving esports ecosystem if the game is in a state which like people want that. So I don't believe necessarily that you can actually force something to become an esports. Like even Blizzard is failing at that. Like Heroes of the Storm or whatever, that game was a disaster. I mean, they tried really hard. They put so much money into that game trying to make an esports, and it just didn't work because the community didn't want it. So it has to really come from the community, and that they have to like really want it to become an esports.
Right. Yeah, and with the way that it is now, I could definitely see it. I think I'm gonna get knocked out here. I definitely see it being able to go down that route because it has that ability to be able to assemble a team that can be competing against other ones instead of just like, I'm going to throw them out there and kind of see what they do. It's definitely gotten to the point to where I just want to get that super team together. And then once, if I can find a way to, if I can get that team together, I can get in there and be able to compete, throw my hat in the ring. So I got defeated on that one. But
yeah, I can see you have something to learn. That snake jar is kind of hard, and the fact that like stun removes shields is something that you really have to like play around. So like in 1v1 situations, it's really hard. I mean, I get crushed too frequently in the game, and it's super like I get mad when I lose. I hate losing, of course.
Right.
But I mean that's a part of it, right? It's it's building the emotion right, inside, and when you have some kind of emotional reaction. At that point, I feel like we're onto something. Of course, we would prefer it if people were happy all the time, but in a 1v1 kind of game, like there has to be a winner, there has to be a loser. So like that's why we have the PvE system, right? So for people who have really like, for example, let's use Mystic Axies as an example. So Mystic Axies, a lot of them aren't really that amazing. Like they look amazing, but in the PvE system, I think that's really where they're going to shine in the future, right? So if you're balancing for PvE, that means that you can't really have something that's like super OP. That doesn't really work. If you want to have like a competitive gaming scene, because at that point you're forcing everyone to get that specific thing, and it could be really hard.
Right.
So I think it's all about like how do you approach that kind of game design.
All right, guys, we are giving away Axies in. Let's see, what time is it? 7:28. We're going to be giving it about 45 minutes. We're going to be picking 5 people to win whole teams of Axies. All right, these have all been kind of accumulated together. We stuck them together as the best teams as we could stick them, and we're going to give them to you. The only way to enter those, you need to be on DLive, type in !Axie, and that's going to put you into the running. If y'all do not have the link to DLive, hopefully one of my mods could throw it in here. If somebody could throw the link to DLive, Zenzo's DLive, and y'all can get in here and get your opportunity to win. Then you can get into Axies and learn about it a little bit, get the feeling of it, see if you like it, see if you don't, which I know you will. Because if you've played Pokemon, you'll like this. It's Pokemon battles, but blockchain. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's definitely.
We usually say that actually.
It's definitely a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely excited to see how it's going to constantly expand because you guys just haven't stopped out the gate, and I know it's just going to go that much further.
Yeah, now we have a solid team already of like 24, 25 people in the team. So this means that we can really like churn out the features so much faster than we ever did in the past. And the amount of like people who are interested in the game and the community and the growth that we're seeing now is just amazing. So I really just want to put the pedal to the metal and start like getting new people onboarded before we have that free-to-play feature enabled, so that the people that we're getting in now into the ecosystem, like these are the crypto crowd, like still. I feel like the crypto people that like we couldn't really onboard them in a great way before, but now I think like this game is at such a different level than almost any other crypto game in the space right now.
Agreed. So let's see. And if anybody has any questions to the guys in Axie, just let us know. Again, we are doing the giveaway, so if y'all want to enter the giveaway, all you gotta do is type !Axie in the chat. Let's see. I need somebody to put in. Did somebody put in the DLive link? Por favor, to Zenzo. So if anybody, like I said, if anybody has any kind of questions to them, just let us know.
Yeah, I think we can talk a little bit maybe about, so when it comes to the Zenzo guys, like why did you decide to kind of start supporting Axie a lot? Because I know that like I met Urimbi in real life too, super nice guy, and I remember we were speaking a little about Zenzo and like what you guys are trying to do, and I'm super excited to see that you guys are care so much about the product that we're building. So can you tell me a little bit about how that happened? Like why did you kind of want to support Axie?
Well, that's the thing is we're in the gaming space first. And when it comes down to it, you got to support the people that are doing the things right. You know what I mean? And we look for that. And we want to lift anybody up that's out here making the gaming space better for blockchain.
Whoa,
and we really feel like you guys are doing that. And so with that being kind of said, that gives us the opportunity to kind of highlight you guys. Let's see, we brought on Ziacoin before. Of course, we had our partners with Pivx. We had them come on the show first. And we feel like we're sharing a space with everybody. And we always feel like we are better to work together than we are divided or apart. And we don't, like with Zenzo and like you guys, like we don't even use the same chain. It's literally a completely separate thing, but it's the same realm. And, you know, when it comes down to it, we want to give a shout out and respect to the ones who deserve it. You know what I mean? And you guys, I've literally had the opportunity to watch y'all from the beginning, and it's one of those things you got to tip your hat to.
Yeah, I mean, thanks. I really think that's amazing to hear. I mean, it's been a lot of work, and I also have a lot of respect for the people who are kind of grinding away in the space right now. I feel like we get a lot of respect from other people, but I would also like to give a shout out to everyone who's building every day, trying really hard, but maybe not feeling that sense of you get the feedback, right? Everything is going well. Like right now we're in a super great situation in Axie. We get so much positive feedback, but there was a time where we didn't get any positive feedback. I feel like we were just building. So I think that everyone who's stuck in that situation where you're just building, no matter what it is, if you stream, if it's your game, sure, man, just keep sticking in there. The quitters never win. I mean, it sounds ridiculous when you say
that,
but I mean, if you just keep grinding, right?
Yeah, that's the whole thing with me streaming and everything else like that. It's been such a journey just to get to this point. And it's literally anything you do. Us at Zenzo, we've been grinding for over 2 years. And we're hell-bent on not taking people's money, building something worth building, and then getting it out. And we've had lucky enough to have the supporters that we've had. We have people that believe in us wholeheartedly because when they hear our mission statement, when they hear, what we're doing, they're behind it. And they're behind it 100%, and they're with us. And, we personally feel not to deliver on that would be a slap in the face to them. And I feel like y'all kind of went down the same route. When y'all got everything raised up, it's like, okay, we've got to deliver something worth delivering. And it wasn't just one of those things that was just rushed out. Okay, this is going to be the bare bones thing, and we're going to leave it at that. People take it, and that's it. It's never... When every time that I played Axie, it's never been broken. You know what I mean? It was what it said it was at the time, and then once it progressed, it said that there was progression, and it showed. And when you got that kind of track record, and you do that when you go out there, and, I got that critical. And when you go out there and you make those moves like that, that's the stuff that I kind of look for. It's not exactly an easy space to be in because. We all know how the end of 2017 and the beginning of 2018 was. And Jesus. So let's see. I'm looking for seeing if anybody's got any questions in the chat.
I think there's been a lot of back and forth when it comes to. What I was going to say is I think there's been a lot of people in the space who kind of suffered over the past 2 years, where just like because of the nature of the space, where everything was kind of going down. And at that point, it's really easy to blame someone for not having the amount of progress that you had hoped. But I mean, building something that's quality takes a long time. And I think that people are starting to realize that. And like we see that in the DeFi space too. So what happened last year is actually the DeFi people had started building a long time ago, a lot of them. And then, for example, MakerDAO, they're like a really old project. And then last year, they suddenly just like, or this year, last year, they took off, right? A lot of people started finding out about it because it really works. And I think that's what's going to happen in the blockchain gaming space this year. That we're going to really see, some projects do really well.
Yeah.
Congratulations on their victory.
Yeah. It looks like I pulled that one out by the skin of my teeth. It's all about that back attacker, man. But the thing is, if they send somebody attacking my back line, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, same here, man. I have one bird, and if you just meet the wrong team, you just get massively destroyed.
See, I'm trying to work out a tank with Yam. Like, I want a tank in the front with Yam, so every time they attack it, they regret it. Let's see.
Yeah, Yam is really strong. I actually prefer to have the last Axie with Yam if I had a choice, just because they're so strong in these grindy situations. And if you're not careful, your having a tank with Yam, it can just die before you can really get the value out of Yam, which is getting up those stacks.
True. True.
At least that's more my strategy.
Right. And I've got this Plan Axie has been really good for my tank, and then I've got kind of a healer, and they've all got a little the healer and the tank, they have kind of a little mid attack, but I leave it for the bird at the back, and he's super fast, so I usually get that attack off first. So here I'm just thinking, usually on the first move you usually run into one or two players, and I just ran into the one that I thought I was going to be running into. People who save power. He didn't do anything on that first move, so I'm going to expect him to kind of launch on the second one and see if I can get good shield up in the front.
Now I'm also looking. What would I do? Yeah, I usually always check if they have an energy stealing Axie.
I did not think I was going to be faster than him, and here I am doing all my moves that I was going to use to heal after he got attacked. So you got to pay attention to that kind of stuff. If you look in the very top, it'll tell you when you're going to attack, and I'll show you here in just a second, because I muffed that one up bad.
Playing when speaking is not that easy, though, in your defense. streaming is really hard, I think, though. So I have a lot of respect for the people who are streaming Axie. Yeah, you really gotta think about what you're doing. Also, so one thing, how big is the Zenso team right now? Because I actually remember Volvin, I think she joined the Axie ecosystem even before Zenso. And now she's a part of your team? Is that right?
Yeah, she is actually a part of our team now. Our team is still relatively pretty small. I think we got roughly around 6 to 8, somewhere in there. But yeah, Wolven came on. She's been kind of a part of the community for a little while now. And instead of just being a part of the community and everything else, we recognize when people are, we got that potential. And we really felt like Wolven was a good fit. So we opened up the door to her, and she accepted. Poor thing. She's part of us now.
To me, that's also what it's all about. So for Axie, we get so many people who come into the community who really want to participate, help out. Actually, it's kind of a luxury problem because we can't, I wish I could really just give everyone who came in and wanted to help out some kind of thing to do in Axie. Right now, but it's still a little bit too early. So I always try to look out for people who are strong in whatever thing that they're doing, and I kind of have that thing in my head where, okay, if we get to a point where maybe we can hire some guys in the future to, for example, do some supporting or help out in any other way, I think that's super exciting. But for now, it's just we have so many people who want to help, and it's really just a tremendous. But I really can respect what you guys are doing. Recruiting from the community, I think is super strong. And that's really when you find the people who are dedicated, believe in what you're doing.
Well, that's how I got into this. That's flat out. I was a community member in the project that was around previous before it went belly up. And that's how I met B. And when I met Urine B, everything kind of was just in disarray. And I really had a mass respect because he was like, I'm not running from this problem. I'm going to run at it. And I was like, you know what? I've got your back. Let's do this. And the birth of Zenso happened, you know, and we've got to take a negative situation and turn it around for something truly beautiful. And we got to look at the problems that we felt like were problems and try to answer them in our own way. And that's where it all kind of spawned from.
Yeah, I think that's like nice to kind of to meet these other strong people in other communities and then to kind of build it from there. I mean, I told you guys how we met. I think like the power of the internet, like power of communications, meeting people who are like, they have the same things. They feel the same way that you do about like a certain aspect, right?
Yeah.
And that's really when you can kind of take that thing to the next level, whatever it must be, right? If you like dogs, if you like games, it doesn't really matter, man. You need to find the people who have the same beliefs that you do. Right. And that's when really the magic can happen, because you can kind of build something that lasts for a long time.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's literally how it goes too, because once you find people on that same level, hold on to them tight. Oh, you got to do that strawberry on him. Yeah, I'm not getting past that. My team's about to get whooped.
Actually, I can see that URNB is asking a little bit about the Axie Infinity Tournament and the Infinity Cup.
Sure.
So I mean, sure. So I'll talk a little bit like about that and like my thoughts around esports, since that's kind of the thing that I am like most probably one of the, I am the most passionate about that in the team, no doubt. So what I really want to do is try to make it so that there is value for the people who are playing in these tournaments, whether or not you're a top player or you're like a top 16 player. And then eventually I actually want to add some prizes for just people who are playing or maybe winning one match. I mean, I really am all about like trying to reward the people who are playing the game. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you do that in a good way, then you can, it's important. So Axie Infinity, the tournament and the Infinity Cup is just the beginning for like a broader, like more tournaments, more rewards for people, whatever they might be playing. If it's like in-house in the ladder, I should say, that's also in a sense like a tournament. So we have some announcement about that that's going to be coming up soon too. So stay tuned for that. I'm not going to leak too much of it, but I mean, in the future, we're really going to be doubling down on that if we see that there is a fit with the community, as I said. So
nice. Well, I look forward to it because I want in.
Yeah, and I really do want to have like a big tournament here in Ho Chi Minh City where I just want to fly in the best players. And where we can have like a huge like world championship kind of thing. That would be my like dream from an esport perspective. I really wanted to do that. So hopefully we can get there and that the game becomes popular enough that is sustainable.
Right. Oh, no doubt. Like, I think you heard it here first, guys. Start training up your Axies if you want to throw down. I'm doing my best. I've definitely got a lot of growing to do. I mean, the breeding system alone has so much complexity to it. So you try to figure out what parts do what, in the beginning. Like, see, right now I'm getting poison. Right now, I mean, there's going to be different type of critical attacks. Like, there's a beast combo that I hate. They will literally throw like 3 criticals out back to back and wipe out whatever it's hitting. And figuring that stuff out is it's super important. Super important.
Yeah, I mean, so what we see is that right now it's a little bit hard for people to kind of catch up what's happening, and like there needs to be a little bit more clarity on effects, and we need to like give more information to the players. So that's also coming. I mean, we're still super early in the alpha, so we're trying to stabilize everything to make sure that people really understand the game, right?
Right.
So if we can get there, then I'll also be happy.
Cool. So let's see. I'm up 2 hours after my bed. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. So when was Axie originally founded?
So Masamuna and Trung were the 2 original founders who actually came up with the idea. I think it was like maybe January or December 2017, January 2018. And then they kind of slowly reached out to a few other people to kind of get their opinions, and then they just started building it. And then the front end was available on February 18th. That was when the pre-sale began of Axies back in 2018. So it's been 2 years now, I would say, almost 2 years. Yeah, and time certainly does fly. So yeah, I've been flying back and forth from Vietnam the past 2 years. It's been a trip.
Yeah, no, it's blockchain time and normal time isn't the same. Like, it's so much faster. Once you start putting your head in it, it's just like putting your head beneath sand. You don't realize everything else that's going on around you if your head's in this. And I know that for the last 2 years, it's been just kind of a blur. And recently, we just saw the kind of spike in Bitcoin, which is pretty exciting. So we'll see what's going to be happening with that.
Yeah, I think like for the people who have been sticking around for a couple of years, and especially those who have been working in the space, if we then see some like movements, it's like, what is happening? Are we actually going to go up again? It's almost unreal.
Yeah.
I feel like, is this a dream right now? I'm used to living in the mud, like rambling around, and there's like, oh, another drop in whatever it is. Oh, okay, just another day. And I mean, that's just the way it has been the last few years.
Yeah.
And now, like, if we see that, like, the little spike, I mean, I feel like we're gonna see some massive things, like moves within the crypto space. Like maybe even like new people coming in. Like if we can't bring them in, like they might come just for the price action, right? Because everyone follows the price, right? And then they want to like really build something or see what's happening. So I think for us, we just want to we actually want to be the people to bring people into the crypto space. That's the goal with Axie.
See, I'm glad you brought that up, because I really feel like gaming is going to be that clutch chain between adoption and, what we're seeing now. Because gaming has been using cryptocurrency for years. It's just been a one-way street and nobody knows it.
Yeah, I mean, using crypto payments for games or in apps is just like the really basic thing. I mean, pretty much anyone can do that. It's not so hard. I mean, the really fascinating things is like when you start thinking about what kind of benefits does blockchain enable for the players or for the stakeholders, like the people who are, for example, owning the items, like, or even like grinding resources in the games. Does this mean that you can get some true ownership of that specific game in itself? Like you can own the part of the revenue streams, you can own the part of, you can like monetize your time playing in a game. Like that in itself is the really cool things. And I think we're going to see like really amazing token models coming into play soon for games and also in Axie Infinity.
Right.
This is an interesting question actually. Is Axie a pyramid scheme? That's definitely not the case.
No pineapple pizza for you. I love that name.
I mean, like a pyramid scheme is just like something totally different. I mean, if you get in early in Axie, sure, you can grind out some. You can grind rewards before anyone else. You can breed before anyone else. But it doesn't mean that like a pyramid, like you can't recruit other people on your behalf. That kind of thing is like really weird. So he says that it seems like it to me. How does it seem like a pyramid scheme to you? I don't understand. Like how is Axie Infinity a pyramid scheme? Can you like explain
I don't own
a bit
an
more?
MLM Axie.
No, I mean, from my perspective, a pyramid scheme is something completely different. So I actually have no idea.
No. I mean, it just comes up because some people may not understand. It may be one of those things to where it looks like, okay, all these people are, just loading up on all this money from, selling these Axies. Well, the truth be told, like the only way to buy Axies right now is from other like community members on like either, on the Axie market. So it's really, I don't know about it being an actual
so let's look at it this way. So what is a game actually? So in Axie, you pay to get 3 Axies and then you can play the game. And then if you earn resources inside the game, you can sell those resources to other players who want to use the resources to breed new Axies. If you want to breed Axies, then you can either play to get resources and then breed new Axies, and that's cool. And then you can sell those Axies or make more teams and breed, play in tournaments. Like I have literally no clue what you mean when it says a Ponzi scheme. Well, and you ask like, what percentage do we take on the Axie market? I mean, we take a percentage when people use our services. Yes, it's a business. We provide a service for our players. Like they can use the Axie marketplace, and we take like 4.25% of each trade.
4.25%. Yeah, that's reasonable, especially when you look at some other ones that are little higher.
Yeah, I mean, so we could probably monetize even harder if you wanted to. You can, we right now we're not even selling Axies from our own like we don't have any Axie sales. Like we're actually letting the players like monetize the ecosystem themselves.
Yeah, so and that's what I was looking at the other day. There's actually no way to buy Axies unless it's off of the marketplace, correct?
Yeah, for now, yeah.
And y'all don't take any percentage off of the marketplace?
No, we take a 4.25%
off the marketplace. Okay, yeah, I didn't know if it was just like when you bought the Axies like off the page, or if it was just on the marketplace too.
No, so there's a different thing, right? When people are playing, like when people use our marketplace or OpenSea, like there's also a fee to use that service. Like so, what you're paying for is actually a service to use their marketplace. The result is that when there are no new recruits or buyers of these kitties, the pyramid will collapse, he says. So Axies are obviously not kitties. Axies are a brand new type of IP that are more Pokemon-like in anything. And if there are no recruits or no new buyers, you can still play the game. You can still grind resources. You can still get like XP for your Axies and look at them.
Yeah.
So I mean, even if but obviously, like we're trying to make it into a really great like economic system where people can benefit from their skill when they're playing the game.
Right.
So I mean, I'm very happy and confident to discuss pyramid schemes because it's just like it doesn't make any sense.
Right. And I mean, I've been in the space long enough to know what a pyramid scheme looks like, and if I really thought that this was a pyramid scheme, I probably wouldn't have you on the show.
No, I mean, if this was a pyramid scheme, I wouldn't have changed my life and moved to Vietnam to actually build a game and a ecosystem, a blockchain game ecosystem, right?
Well, just like you were talking about in the beginning, you're trying to work up to make it to where people can get into this without even putting money into it. So that says a lot to me, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair if people think that. I mean, that's up to them. I mean, I can't control anyone else. So if you think that, then maybe this is not really the game for you. I mean, obviously we're interested in having everyone on board, and we think that there can be a lot of value for people who are interested in playing the game. But if not, well, that's cool too.
Yep.
Find another game, something else to play.
Different strokes for different folks, man. That's how it goes.
Exactly, man. And also, like, what we're trying to do here is build something for the future. Right? We really want a community of friendly and happy people who support each other. We're helping each other. So actually the community is a part of the product that Axie Infinity is creating in a sense. So we spend so much time talking to the people. I meet players all the time. I try to treat them with respect and try to treat them fairly. I think that's cool. The troll had to troll you one more time. Wow.
He's just trolling. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Like, even if you're trolling, I think it's cool because then we can answer some critical questions. I mean, exactly. I love critical questions. Like, really, I'll be happy to answer critical questions all the time, man. I think that's great.
But no, that's you got a very valid point there. And there's more questions than all positive ones. And it's good to have some critical thinking about this thing, especially in blockchain, especially with the history of what question everything. And that's what I tell people into our community. They'll come in and be like, oh, I'm like, look, slow down. I know you're getting into our stuff and you want to just, throw all this stuff into it. But take your time. Pick everything apart, piece by piece. Know what you're getting into. God forbid you know what you're getting into,
Yeah, I mean, so I think what I really love seeing is when we get people from outside the crypto ecosystem and they just come in and they see the product and they become super passionate about what we're making, right? Oh wow, this is a game, this is a real thing. Oh, and wow, it has blockchain related things. What's a blockchain? That. Oh, and it actually enables ownership of game assets that you can potentially monetize your time. That right. Feeling is what I'm looking for, right? It's cool that we have a lot of crypto people. I mean, that's fine, but the crypto space is so small, really. We need new people in here.
We need fresh blood, and the best way to get it is to bring them in. And the thing is we did have a lot of fresh blood come in late 2017, 2018, but they were burned. They were straight burned at the stake. I mean, it got to the point to where everything that was coming out was just straight scammy. You were lucky to find a decent thing, and I always compare this to the Atari crash back in the 80s. What happened was that there were so many Atari games that were coming out trash, nobody could figure out what was good and what wasn't. So nobody bought anything and the market crashed. What made that change? What made that go from down to up? Innovation. The Nintendo, the Sega. all of those things started coming out. The arcade started coming out. The game started to grow. And I think that, that's what we're going to be seeing kind of here in the same, sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the way, like, up and up. So I talk to a lot of investors in the space, since I do, like, handle the business side of Axie, right? So what we see is that a lot of the investors have also been burned out on more traditional investors. Like, they've been burned out on the games that are in the space right now, because as you said, like, there were so many scams, there were so many like really bad games that were created, and the players who were creating these games, they didn't really know what it took. Like, we didn't even know what it took. So at that point, you come to a place where, if you were investing in something, the chances of that investment failing is like massive. So you don't really want to invest in anything like almost ever again. So a lot of these investors are also kind of on the fence now, looking for that like breakout game, and that's going to take a little bit of time.
For sure. For sure. And I know with the proper management, you're looking to your community for the questions and the answers kind of all at the same time. That's kind of like what we do too. And the answers are there. If you sit in a group with your peers and you come up with an idea, that may not go over well with the community. If it's great on paper, it may not be great in real time. So you look to your community for those answers, that feedback, that reality of this works. And I really like, when I go into the Axie community, there is no doubt it's there. Because they'll be in there, they'll be talking tactics, they'll be talking Axies, and then, they'll be trading Axies, there'll be I literally went in there at one time and I said, I think I'm looking for, one with poison, and then bam, 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 bam. Somebody was like, hey, you want to try this one? You can try this one? Just take a look at this one. I'm like, I was completely overwhelmed with the feedback. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, people are really excited to share their strategies, and like, people love sharing their ideas with us. And like, we're actually using Axie, like the community, as sort of a think tank. Think tank. So you see all these great ideas that come in. Some of them are, of course, not as great. That's only natural. And then we see, then we really want to act on those that we think are the best, so that we can kind of integrate that within the game, or even use like other third-party developer tools and integrate that somehow. I think it's still a little bit early in the ecosystem for that. But even so, like, we see a lot of cool things being made on top of the Axie ecosystem, which I think is great. For sure.
I had probably sat here one day and I had to grind out like 300 love potions. I got straight into it and was working on it and getting these love potions. Then I go into the community one day and they're like, oh, you could sell those too. And I'm like, wait, what? So you could actually sell the love potions that you're making in the game. So think about that. If you get you a basic team together and you just grind those love potions and you got your eye on a certain Axie, you can literally grind up to buy that Axie.
Yeah, I really just love that, and I think that we're going to see like more and more of that kind of play to earn thing. So
I was just about to mention that.
there is one thing that's a little bit like dangerous when it comes to too much like play to earn focus and reward focus. That you have a tendency to get players who are only focused on making money. Right. And that's a little bit scary too. So there has to be like this middle ground where how fun is the game, right? And how fun are you there to only make money? So maybe at now we can say that, okay, Axie Infinity is in such like a early stage that maybe we can kind of bootstrap a little bit more by adding more rewards to making sure that people can actually like earn decent money, like playing the game. And eventually, as the game become better and better and better and become more and more players, like maybe we can adjust these rewards accordingly, right? So like in the end, players are really focused on having fun in the game, because that's like the really core thing that we have to like aim for. Like, what are we designing the game for? Like, it has to be a fun game, exciting for everyone, and then like kind of that sprinkling on the cake is that, wow, okay, I actually make money playing something like this too, for example.
Exactly.
That's really what I want to see.
There's a very careful balance, and us in the Z crew, we definitely understand this one. It has to be one of those things to where, yep, you can get something out of it, but how much is the potential of exploitation? How much is the potential of this putting a dent, in what we're trying to do? It's a really tough equation. And it's easy to sit on the outside, but once you're on the inside of it, it has to be planned out and done in a way to where you have people that are playing to have fun, And yet you're going to have that person every now and then that's just like, I'm going to grind to get this. Because that's just going to happen. You know, it's the law of average. But is your game going to be able to counteract that? You know,
what is gamification, right? So what is like, how fun is the game, right? That's it. Like, can you actually make something that people want to play if it's not like unless you like feed them like money, like so we have we are looking for evangelists instead, not mercenaries. We need like the real evangelists to play Axie, and that's like what we are optimizing for. And then we can kind of reward them also within the game. I think that's cool. Okay. So it's obviously still early days, we're constantly like looking at the ecosystem, seeing. So I think that's fine.
Yep. And I mean, there will always, this is gaming first off, so there's always going to be ups and downs. Sometimes there could be an update that people don't like. Sometimes there'll be an update that people love. It's just one of those things. You're constantly building. And once you're constantly building, sometimes things fall down. But by the time you get done rebuilding it, it's better than whatever the first version was.
Yeah, I think the key thing is that people actually care. Yeah. Like, unless you release something, like there's one thing which is called like you release something and nobody cares about it. That's like the death of 1,000 cuts, right? It's just like a pointless thing. Yeah. That's kind of the worst thing for everyone, like any game developer. So for us, like just seeing like even if we release it, people get mad at us or whatever. I mean, okay, at least you care. Well, I mean, sure, we can try better. We're gonna make a better change. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you care enough. That's great.
Well said. Very well said. All right, guys. So we've got 14 more minutes till the Axie giveaway. If y'all are not in it, you got to go to DLive, type in !Axie, and that's going to put you in the running. If you win, you will need to go into our Discord at Zenzo, and we'll put a link up to it when that happens. And Wolven will get with you, or you get with Wolven, and we will get you those Axie sent when you send us your Ethereum address or your MetaMask wallet.
Nice. So you got this good little operation ready here.
Oh yeah,
I like that. You need to be ready. You need to have that streamlined operation. So that's good.
See, Harlock, he's already on it. See, like that's the thing. I just got friends from stream. I was lucky enough to start streaming on DLive, and I just met this awesome community. And next thing I know, I got to hang out with all these cool people, man. And next thing I know, I was just knee deep in streaming. I was like, I love this. I want to be a part of this. I want to do this too. And Axie's a lot like that too. If you fall into it and you get in with the community, you may not know a whole lot in the beginning, but the community's going to be there for you if you have any questions. And if the community doesn't get to you, the team will. But generally, the community will get to you before the team has time to even respond.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, we try to answer questions. I mean, before we used to be there even more. Right now, we obviously have other stuff to do. I try to prioritize things like this too, to kind of come here, support a little bit, and kind of like spread the word about Axie. I think that's important too. I really want to make sure that you guys know that we care.
Right.
No, I can't be there every time. I can't be on the chat every time. So sometimes people, of course, get a little bit sad that you can't give them all the attention that they ask for every time. But I think that's also natural, right?
Right.
As you become more and more busy, and there's a lot of demand for attention and things that has to be done.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely because, meeting all of these people and stuff like that, and I'll be talking to them, and then I'll get wrapped up in doing the Zenzo stuff, and they're like, hey, where you at? I'm like, I am just right here in work. So let's see, wait a minute. Wolven, let's see, Real RJ, we'll be selling love potions to incorporate it into market. Well, selling love potions.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So the Real RJ is asking if selling love potion will be incorporated into the official Axie market, or is that something you guys plan to do? Oh, so you mean if we as a company are going to be selling love potions? So I think there are two possible answers here. So the first one is Axie Infinity as a company, will we be selling love potions? That is not on the table for now. Will we be adding support, for example, making a widget inside the marketplace which taps into the liquidity on Uniswap so that people can trade love potions? That is an option. Mm-hmm. But right now we see that a lot of people that they just find that the Uniswap thing works good enough, and anything it takes some time to make these things, and we're really focused on polishing the user experience on inside the application for now. So did that answer your questions, the real RJ? I mean, it's a possibility. It's probably gonna come because eventually we will need like to have a unified marketplace with all the resources and everything that can be dropped in the game eventually. But for now, that's just like not a massive priority, and people can actually trade using Uniswap.
Very nice. Yep, and I hope somebody is going to be getting a new team here in about 10 minutes. So like I was saying, guys, if you're not in the Axie giveaway, all you got to do is type !Axie in the chat, and that's going to put you into the running.
And a team is actually getting, it's a little bit pricey now. It costs maybe like $6, $7, $8. It depends. So
it depends. Like, I mean, some of these Axies, they're worth a boat. Like, they are straight up worth a lot. Like, I have one. He's my prized one. He's a pure breed. And I was watching the market. And then boom, I see this pure breed petite come up for like $10, and I'm like, yoink. I took that one quick.
Finding good deals on the marketplace or being like a marketplace shark, that's a skill. So if you have that skill, if you have that, like you're grinding the marketplace, I mean, all respect to you, because that's hard, man. Making a profit on the marketplace is classically like 80-20 rule out of every marketplace, like 80% usually lose and 20% gain. So
yep.
That's just the way it is. Hopefully we can add like other ways for people to make profits within the game, or make like revenue, whether that be like just by playing the game, finding some cool drops there.
Cool.
And I hope that answered your question, the real RJ. So just to reiterate, yes, eventually we will be adding that, not only support for SLP, but also for other resources that will be dropping in the game. For now, it's not a priority.
Very cool. Very cool. So if anybody has any more questions they want to throw out towards the Axie Gang, just let us know. If you hadn't heard the Axie Gang song, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's so much cool content, man, that has been created for Axie. Like even like Cloudwhite has even taken an Axie Infinity tattoo. At this point, I feel like the community guys, I almost like I feel like I know them.
Right.
It's like really lovely feeling, I would say. But there are so many people who care about the project that you're taking a part of. And Axie is just like, Axie wouldn't be the same thing without the players who are in it right now and the community that's gathered around it. That's just that wouldn't be the same at all.
100%. Without your community, the community is the heart. You can have a body, you can have a mind, you can have the limbs, you can have the organs and everything, but without the heartbeat, you're dead. And that's where the community really comes in. I've personally seen what a good community can do. It lifts you up. It makes you want to show up every day. It makes you want to get that thing in their hands that they're looking forward to and so excited to see. And I feel like ever since I got into the realm in crypto, there was a whole lot of takers. There was just people willing to take. There wasn't a whole lot of people giving back. And a lot of those takers didn't make it through last 2019. They just didn't. They went belly up because they didn't know any other way but to take. And once that dries up, where do you get that inspiration? Where do you get everything? It's just not there. And when you invest your time and energy into a community, just like you said, you get to know them. You know them you feel like you know them personally. And for a lot of times, like if you have DMs with them or if you're talking to them in the general chat, you do to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes this so great, is that it doesn't matter where you come from. Once you come underneath this banner, we're all kind of one, no matter what community you're in. And if they bring, negative things to light and make you better, great.
Yeah, for sure.
If they bring just good support, emotional support, like, pushing you and like, I love it, then that's great too. Of course, you always have trolls too. I have to deal with that all the time. I am a streamer, so it's like that just happens. But with the good, there's the bad, and without the bad, you'll never appreciate the good.
Yeah, I think you're really right there. I mean, so from a company perspective, I can say that sure. I mean, we don't do everything right all the time. We're trying to get better at everything. Like making a startup is hard as it is. Like dealing with a consumer-facing company and a really demanding community who want you guys to make everything amazingly fast and strong and amazing, that is really hard too. So, I mean, yeah, we really appreciate all the patience that our community is bringing, and we really try our best to please everyone, to support everyone. But I also kind of realized that it's almost impossible to make everyone happy, man. Sometimes you just have to come to a set, and man, we're trying our best. Like we really want to support you guys. We really want to take this to the next level. But things take time, man. There has to be some understanding there. Correct. And I think that kind of thing is also really important. And we're actually working on our communication as a company there to kind of make sure that everyone understands that.
No, then I really find that the true believers, as it were, understand that completely, because they're usually there all the time. They're seeing the progress. They're seeing the times you fall down and pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and go to plan B. And their support sometimes is all you have, because I mean, when we got everything kind of started and everything else, there was plenty of setbacks. But just coming into what we're doing now, like we started working on Kodo, we got to show that off in the first checkpoint. We've been building out this, that everybody's like, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? And we don't have a date. We don't have a date for you, because we're not going to be able to just be like, this is where it's going to happen, and we're sure it's going to happen. We can't do that. And if we're not sure of something, we're not going to tell you that we are.
I think the stream fell down, by the way, or no, some lag here.
Let's see here.
Oh no, it works. My bad.
What happened?
Sorry to support you. Sorry to stop you. But yeah, I definitely, I think that's the right approach too. I mean, you just, like, I'm really fond of being as honest as I possibly can. I mean, in the end, Axie Infinity is still a business. We have to make sure that we are surviving first before we can kind of give back. And I think that everyone has to kind of understand that too. And in the end, we want to make sure that everyone in the community benefits.
Yeah, it looks like the stream died for just a second, but it came back on Twitch, but it did not come back on DLive. So let's see, what did I break?
DLive went down. Justin pulled the plug on DLive. Sorry, boys, it's just not happening.
He's on to us. He knows. I knew this would happen. Okay, so the DLive one went down. I'm just going to stop the stream and restart it real quick.